Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 256 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, aka the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. Are you a lesbian? Do you know any lesbians? Was there a time in your life where you thought you were a lesbian only to learn later on in life that you crave penis, that you need penis, that you love the aesthetics of penis, but more importantly, you love the feel of penis inside of yourself? PIV? Was there a point in your life where you were 100% certain that you were a heterosexual female, only to learn later on in life, much later on in life, into your late 30s, early 40s life, maybe a midlife crisis, maybe not, that in fact you don't like penis. You crave, you need the warmth, the snuggliness of a sneeze. That's what we're here to discuss in episode 256. Now let's get serious. I was on Facebook, as I do. I should have been productive. I should have been looking for something funny or thinking of something funny to do here at Verbal Graffiti or on stage when I do stand-up. But I came across this post. You know, I keep touch. I keep tabs. I'm a lurker of former classmates of mine, especially from high school that I was friendly with. And there's this couple. And you probably guess where this is going. There's this couple that I knew in high school. They dated in high school and they stayed together. They moved to a different state. I'm not really friendly with them anymore. There was no animosity. It's life. They moved on. I stayed here. And they got married, had a family. I think they might have 2 or 3 kids. And every so often, I'm on the book, I'm scrolling. And I see the husband, who I would think I was closer with the husband than the wife when we were in high school. We'd see each other at parties. We'd drink a little bit together, but there was really never a one-on-one conversation with either of these two. But we weren't friends, but we were friendly. You know the difference. And I was kind of shocked, taken aback a little bit to see that he had photos with a different babe. A babe that was not his wife, the girl he started dating when we were together in high school. I go, oh, that's interesting. And what did I do? I did some research, because that's what we do on Facebook. That's what we do on Instagram. When you're looking up former classmates of yours and you see that there's something different in their life, a different person, a different environment, you do some research. Oh, did some shit go down in their life? What happened? I need to know. Even though we're not in high school, I love the drama. I crave the drama. The high school, you never really leave the high school hallways. You do physically, but mentally, you want to keep tabs on everybody. At least I do. I don't go out of my way, but if it presents itself on Facebook, I'm gonna do some research. I'm college educated. I have a degree in history. This is somewhat history. So he's got photos with a different babe. He's clearly, he's not hiding it. This isn't just some side piece. You don't put your side piece on Facebook when you're married with kids. Even I'm not dumb enough to do that. Although you can't have a side piece without a main piece. And I don't have either of those. So I will not make that mistake on Facebook. Anyways, so I'm like, oh, well, if he's got a side piece or a new babe, what happened to his wife? The babe I knew from high school, that we were classmates together. So I go on her page, because that's what you do, right? If you see a guy there's a couple, and then you see the guy or one of them with a new person, you immediately go to the other person's, the former lover's page, and see what's going on with that person. So that's exactly what I did, which I think is a logical train of thought, action. So I go to her page, and she's got some work photos But then there's babe that she looks pretty close to. There are some photos where they're not like scissor fucking, but they're definitely holding each other's hand. It looks like they're together. If you were to see them out and about, I would at least assume, oh, they're a lesbian couple, right? And should I preface the word couple with lesbian? Is that sexist of me? Perhaps. You can be the judge. Personally, I don't think. All right. So I'm not. A lot of you know this. If you're one of the 10 or so somewhat regular viewers and or listeners of Verbal Graffiti, it's well documented that I'm skeptical of lesbians. Not all lesbians, but a good percentage of lesbians, I am of the belief, don't actually love sniz. They just can't acquire the guy, the Chad that they desire. So their only options are to get with a subpar guy, and they're not going to do that. Right? They're not going to get with the B-man. They're not going to get with you. So they find an adequate babe to cohabitate with. Like that's the next best option if you want some intimacy. So there's a good, I don't know what the percentage is. I'm not going to say the percentage, what I think it is, because I'm not a scientist. I am merely an observer of people of the environment. But I think there's a quite large percentage of lesbians that are not actually lesbians, that are not actually doing the muff diving, that aren't licking the clit, nibbling on the clit, finger popping the clit. So, and I think this is one such lady. And I make that, I'm not going to say it's an accusation, because I haven't spoken to this babe in 20 years, nor her husband or divorcee, whatever they are. I just, I know her history enough to know that me as an outsider, that much earlier in life, I was somewhat of an insider. You know, I'd see her every day. I'd see him every day. You know, we converse, friendly. We were friendly. They seemed happy together. And it's not even that I am, it's not even that relationship that makes me think that she's not a lesbian. I think there are a lot of babes who maybe just get married, want to have a family, and maybe they do love the sniz, and they just deal with the penis long enough to get their kids, to get their family, and then they move the fuck along to their happy ending with some lady, some butch. Can you say dyke? We say it lovingly here. We use the term dyke lovingly here at Verbal Graffiti. But I don't think this is such a case. Because not only did these two date in high school, heterosexual couple, live together, have a family, produce children, which is proof that they fucked, right? This lady, this now lesbian, outwardly lesbian on Facebook, on the social media apps, she's had heterosexual sex. And not just with this guy. This was the babe who loved dick in high school. She was the dick sucker in our high school. Now, there were many of them, right? When I say many, there were both, right? There were many dicks, and there were a handful of dick suckers in my high school. When you saw that baby, who is she? She's a dick sucker. And we say that lovingly, not lovingly, just as a fact. Like when you're sucking dicks every week at the parties, like different guys' dicks, you gain a reputation as a dick sucker, right? And that's neither. Well, I think it's good. Right? Maybe the babe herself doesn't like everyone in school calling her a dick sucker behind her back and maybe even to her face. Yeah, but when you're doing it publicly, let me tell you, if you're in high school or anywhere, and you're sucking dick in public where all your classmates can see it, you might gain a reputation as being a dick sucker. So if you don't want the reputation of being a dick sucker or a sucker of many dicks, don't do so publicly. That's common sense. I shouldn't have to tell you that. But anyways, So this couple, these friends of mine in high school, friend Lee, I saw that when they were dating, there were parties where I'd see this girl that is now a confirmed lesbian sucking other guys' dicks at parties when it was still light out. We'd be at a party in the summer or the spring or early fall, and at times when it would get dark after 8 p.m. So it'd still be light out when the party started, and I'd see her sucking other classmates' dick on the side of a barn, on the side of a garage for everybody to see. Now, she wasn't doing it in the middle of the living room, but she certainly wasn't going for a drive in a car or finding some closet or somewhere where it's very private, where no one could see. She was sucking dick outside on the side of the house. So it wasn't as though I was like, hey, where is this lady? Let's find a search party for her. I was just going outside to find to the keg or the cooler to get another Busch Light or maybe a Red Dog or maybe a Keystone Light. And as I'm walking to get the cooler or the keg to get a beer, because I wasn't getting my dick sucked. This babe never sucked my dick, and nobody sucked my dick in high school. That wasn't until years later. Well, I'd turn the corner, or I'd be trying to find somebody else at the party. Like, oh, there she is. She's sucking a dick. And that was my experience in high school, or at least one of my experiences. And now, over 20 years later, I go on Facebook, and I see that this girl is a confirmed lesbian. And now I got my brain, and not even my brain, my ball sack. I just can't get it out of my ball sack because I don't believe her. I don't believe that this lady is a lesbian. Now, I know on the internet, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to question someone's sexuality. But honestly, I'm not even doing it. I'm not even questioning her lesbianism for my sake, although I am. Because I'm nosy. But I'm doing it for the other lesbians out there. Now, hand up. I am not an ally to the lesbians, nor have I ever been. I'm not an adversary to the lesbians. I'm adjacent to them. You live your life. I'm a bit skeptical of your life. I'm actually more of an ally to the gays than I am the lesbians. Like the gay guys, they're definitely gay. They love the penis. They love that lifestyle. The lesbians, I don't know. All I'm here to say is I'm adjacent to them. I'm not going to go to your rally. I'm not going to go to your protest on Saturday. It's well documented here. I'd rather watch college football or the World Series or whatever sports is on, than to go protest or rally for whatever rights or laws that you want passed for your subsection of person. Is that greedy of me? Is that selfish? Perhaps it is, but my heart's not in the rally or the protest. Do you really want me there? I don't think so. But again, I'm not going to be on the other side of the fence like the anti-protester either. I'm just like, just live your life while I watch football. Perhaps. But I feel bad. And I don't feel bad. It's almost like I want I want to message her now girlfriend who looks like a lesbian. Like when I look at them two together, the girl I went to high school with and now her new girlfriend, like the new girlfriend that I don't know, that I didn't go to high school with, she looks like a lesbian, right? She looks like a butch dyke. And I use that term lovingly. Like if I was a lesbian, I would love you to call me a dyke. That'd be some dirty talk. Holy dyke, let's dyke it out tonight. Like, that'd be hot. That'd be hot if I was a lesbian. But again, I'm not, so maybe you take offense to that word if you are a lesbian. Maybe you're taking offense to this entire opening because I'm questioning the entire concept of lesbianism. But I am concerned for the real lesbian in this couple. And again, I don't know her backstory, the real lesbian, so maybe that's questionable as well. I just know the backstory the prior 35 to 40 years. All right, I guess 30 because I met her in high school. The 25 years of heterosexual lifestyle. Like, I know her past. She married a guy. She dated a guy. She lived with a guy. She married a guy. She sucked dick. She was a high school dick sucker. She was known as a dick sucker when we were in high school. She would suck the dicks of other guys that were not her boyfriend at parties in high school when her boyfriend was at the party. That's a confirmed lover of the dick. When you're sucking dicks that are not your boyfriends at a high school party that your boyfriend is also in attendance at, you're a dick sucker. You love dick. You are a heterosexual female. Now, maybe you don't like being fucked by the dick, but you certainly like having dick in your mouth. Right? And now 25 years later, you're holding hands, you're twirling the hair of your lesbian girlfriend. I'm kind of calling bullshit. No, I'm not actually gonna message the girlfriend. I'm just gonna come here and hash it out at verbal graffiti. That's what we do. I'm a coward. But I do. There's a pain. There's just a feeling. I'm concerned for the girlfriend. I don't know. This dyke lesbian who looks like a real lesbian. And yes, I do believe in stereotypes here at Verbal Graffiti. They're stereotypes for a reason. It doesn't mean they're bad, although many of them are. I'm concerned. I'm concerned for all the lesbians, not just this lesbian. All the lesbians that are real lesbians. I'm concerned that they're getting into relationship with lesbians that aren't 100% on board with your team. Like, am I wrong? Am I wrong to question? When a babe comes out at 40 years old and says, "Hey, I'm a lesbian. I'm one of you. I know all the history. We go to rallies. I'm holding hands. I now have a girlfriend." But your past includes sucking dick, all the dick in high school, other than the B-mans. You married a guy. You had a family with a guy. You had a life with a guy. And now you come at me at 40, go, "I'm a lesbian," on Facebook. Like I'm skeptical of that. Hey, but that's your life. No, you lived your life. You now have a new life. But that other lesbian that now is in your life, I'm concerned for her. I'm concerned for the real ones. The real lesbian. This girl I went to high school with, she's not a gold star. Maybe you don't know, a gold star is somebody, I'm not sure if it's in the gay community as well, certainly lesbians. Lesbians who haven't had any dick in their life. No sexual experiences with dick of any kind. You're a gold star. If you've been sniz your entire life, that's all you've been sexually active with, you are a gold star lesbian. Or at least that's what a lesbian bartender in Middletown, Connecticut told me. That she told me that's what a gold star is. Just a lesbian that's only been with babes. No men in her past sexual history endeavors. I'm concerned for the gold stars, right? Because if you're 40 years old, right, you're dating with intent. You want you want a lesbian. You want a real relationship. You want to get with a real lesbian, and then you enter into a relationship with this babe who tells you she's a lesbian. She loves the sniz. She loves the female body. That's what she's all about. 100%. She wants to be with you. Female in union. But she has a past that is telling you something different. Her past includes lots of dicks, lots of penis inside of her mouth, inside of her body. She married a penis. Yes, it was a man, But it was a man attached to a penis. She gave her vows to that penis, to that man. She had a family with that man. Right? She had babies come out of her vagina because she had sexual intercourse with a man. Right? Now, if I was a 40-year-old or whatever age, if I was a lesbian, like a full board, 100% dyke, and then some lady that I fancied, and we started dating, and then, when we started opening up, and oh yeah, I have 3 kids, and I have a husband, and we just got divorced, and we might still be married, and yeah, I've been with guys a lot, but I'm a lesbian now. No, you're not. Hey, you can say whatever the fuck you are. You can live your life, but don't be trying to get in my life pretending you're a real lesbian. Because even if you are, even if you have transitioned and you're 100% lesbians, I, as a lesbian, gold star from day one or day one of puberty, whenever it starts, when you get those sexual urges, I've been on this team my entire life. Now, you want to hop on board when you're middle-aged? Like, get the fuck out of here with that. Fine. Go find some sniz. But you're going to have to prove what you would have to do. Right? We're 40 years old and you're married, had a family, and you're coming at me as a lesbian while I'm a lesbian. Well, you got to prove that you love to sniz. And the way we're going to do that, we're going to go down to the truck stop. Right? And you're going to have to dive into the sniz of all those lot lizards. And you're going to have to stay down there all night long. Right? You're going to have to keep her awake till the truck drivers leave in the morning. You got to show me you're all about this lifestyle, that you're all about the sniz. You can't just hold my hand and take some photos and tell me you're a different woman now that you've learned that you love women. No, you're married. You have kids. Right? You went to homecoming, prom with the guy. You married him. And now you want to scissor fuck me? Get the fuck out of here. You ain't a lesbian. Yeah. I don't know what this midlife thing is, but I want no part of it. Like, I'm a lesbian. I'm a soldier. I've been here. I've been battling for my rights. I've been battling the straight guys for the sniz. We've been battling for this sniz my entire life. And now you're going to come on board 40 years old with a C-section? Right, and you produce that child the original way with like insertion, right? With a cream pie. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to enter into a relationship as a lesbian with another babe who's taking cream pies from John's, and now she's going to try to play off that she's a lesbian. Nah, ain't happening. Like, this lady's better than me, because if this girl I was in high school was with. Like, if I was a lesbian and I look, get the fuck out of here. You're like, at least the B-man, me the B-man, at least I'm just letting you live your life. If you're a lesbian, I might question it, but hey, live your fucking life, right? I'm not going to try to enter into a relationship with you and try to fuck with your head and try to prove to you that I'm something that I don't think I really am. Right? This isn't, I'm not trying something out with you. Because I'm a heterosexual guy. That's what I am. So I'm not going to, I guess I should say this with gay guys, right? Because I can't really be a lesbian because I'm a guy. But the gay guys, like, I'm not going to try to enter into their world. Like, if you're gay, live your life. Live your gay life. I'm not going to try to, try you out and try to use you for a little bit to see if I'm gay. He's like, no, you're gay. I'm straight. Live your life. I live my life. Hopefully we have happy lives. But we're not, but this, we're like women are like trying to capture real lesbians after 40 years of being with a guy. Like, dude, that is, I won't say it's satanic because it certainly doesn't go to that level, but it's questionable. Like, I wouldn't blame any gold star lesbian for questioning uh, the sexuality of a babe who says she's a lesbian when when she has a family, right? When she's taking big old cream pies that produce children. You can't have it. You can't have it. All right, let's move on. All right, this next one comes from, if I could find it. Okay. I guess the topic of this episode is all things lesbians. All right, this comes from the subreddit Vintage Porn Sellers. A vintage lesbian vid that was online around the late 2000s, peeping Tom, question mark. There was a vid that looked like it was probably from the 80s, maybe the 90s, but the first 30 seconds is a man spying on two lesbians in a motorhome trailer. The rest is pretty standard lesbian scene, but what sticks out is they both had very defined, clear tan lines. It was probably part of a larger video, but I think it was posted on Clip Hunter or Pick Hunter, maybe YouPorn XXX videos, but I don't think it was on a mainstream website. This is a porn guy. This is a porn guy. From one porn guy to another, game, respect, game. I tip of my penis to you. That's a great thing about a porn guy, is a porn guy doesn't need to tell you he's a porn guy. There's just a certain aura that he has that exemplifies his porn guy-ness. And that's what this guy has. All right? When he started listing websites that they aren't mainstream porn websites, or YouPorn that hasn't been relevant in over a decade, or Clip Hunter, when he's referencing porn sites that a 20-year-old would have no clue what you're talking about, that's a porn guy. Not only is he a porn guy, he's an OG porn guy. And that's what this guy is. And I love him for it. And I understand, I understand where he's coming at. Because you would think, that if you're not a porn guy, let me bring you into a porn guy's mind. Because I would assume that if you're not a porn guy, and you were to ask a porn guy about a porn actress, a lady in the industry, you would assume he has all the names. Yeah, he's the Wikipedia of porn. He knows every actress, every movie, every director, every cinematographer. But the problem is there's too many babes in smut. And once you're a porn guy for multiple decades, unless you have a photographic memory, it becomes... It's very difficult to remember all the babes' name, even the mainstream babes. There's just too many names. I think there's that thing I heard once where you can only remember 300 people's names. If you're a porn guy, you've watched more than 300 porn stars. Therefore, it's impossible to remember every porn star that you've watched, the name of her. And so I get that. I get that. Conversely, although you can't remember the name of the porn star, it is funny because as a porn guy, you might not know all the porn stars' names, but you could do an etch-a-sketch of every porn star you've seen. Now, the porn stars that you've really watched, the ones that have really touched your ball sack, that stay with you, you could do a... Going to the police station, the sketch of the criminal, you could do that of all the porn stars you've watched. Or I should say, all the porn stars that haven't had an impact on you. And that's what this guy's into right now. He kind of remembers the scene. He can vaguely describe the crime scene, or in this case, the porn scene. And this is a porn guy's porn scene right here. Right? Like two lesbians scissor fucking in a motorhome with a peeping Tom on the outside, so it's a bit of a voyeur video. That's a porn guy's video. That's not mainstream smut. Hey, that scene is reserved for guys who have a passion for porn. So I hope to, and I don't know what the scene is. So if you're a porn guy, let us know down in the comments if you do know the scene he's talking about. And I hope he does find the scene. Because it is a bit peculiar. I think I mentioned last episode, maybe the episode before that I've had sex with maybe 30 to 40 babes in my lifetime, all consensually. And of the, let's say of the 30, there's probably 10 that I vaguely remember. I certainly don't remember her name. Like, I couldn't tell you the size of her areolas, or yeah, we had. I could tell you where the deed was done, whether it was adequate or not, but I couldn't give you many details about it. Not like this guy just did with this scene that we're talking about. But oddly enough, like every porn guy, there is a scene that just it's ingrained in your mind and in your ball sack for life. It comes in your impressionable years, probably your teenage years, maybe your early 20s. And every porn guy has one, as do I, because I am a porn guy. And it's kind of odd to think about it now, that there are porn scenes that I remember that I can reflect on more than actual sex that I had. Like that's a wild thought. And it's true. And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel a bit giddy. I feel it's kind of funny, but maybe it's a bit sad. Maybe it is. I don't know. I do know the scene. It's definitely a scene. Again, it was on one of those old sites that this guy just met. It probably was XX videos or YouPorn, RedTube. I don't know. It was on one of those sites. Not one of them. It wasn't Bang Bus or Vixen Girls or Win One. I don't know what it was, but it certainly was not one of the mainstream sites. At least of today in 2026. But I remember it was a lady. The lighting wasn't great, so that's how I knew it was amateur porn, which is always my go-to. Sometimes, I'll venture off into mainstream smut or maybe some kinks, but I always go back to just amateur, real couples, real lovemaking. And this was such a scene where the lady was on her bed. And she was white, but maybe Italian, a brunette hair, a bodacious boobs, jigglers that just jiggled for days, jiggled for nights, jiggle in my brain forever. And she had a perfect body, no pubic hair, which is odd because I like a little pubic hair. But she was masturbating with a toy. And the thing that I loved about the scene is her eyes were dilated. She was definitely either intoxicated via alcohol or some type of pill. Now, I'm not a pill guy, so I don't know what pills she might have been taking. But I enjoy that because I don't really like sober sex. I like drunk sex. Sober sex is... I don't know who enjoys sober sex. It's so mundane. Maybe that's what married people do. But, hey, man, if you're living life the right way, you should be having sex while you're inebriated. At least that's what I think. But which is so frustrating because in porn, you're technically not allowed to be drunk or on drugs when you're filming. So a lot of the mainstream smut, you could tell the babes are sober because their eyes aren't bloodshot. But in this scene that just is ingrained in me. This one scene, Her eyes were just like she was kind of gone, but kind of there. And she's masturbating. I could tell she's drunk or on some type of drugs. And she's begging for her man, her John, who's not in the camera, to come into the camera and fuck her. Give her that good dick. And this goes on for 5 or 6 minutes. And finally, the guy comes into the scene and they fuck. And she's super flexible. He takes her legs, pins them right over her shoulders, and they fuck, and it's just a great, it's just, it's this magical drunk sex porn scene that back in the day, I gooned so hard to this, and this was before gooning was a term. And even today, every once in a while, every few years, this scene will pop up while I'm gooning, and I always give it my nut. Because that's the scene that this guy has right here. This porn guy, he has that one scene that he's seeking out. I don't necessarily seek out the scene I just described, but whenever it's there, I'm going to hawk my dick loogie to it because that's the one scene that I remember that I'll never forget. Babes I've had real sex with, forgettable. This one babe who was drunk, fiddling herself, begging her man to come in the camera. Eventually he did and dicked her down the right way, hit that cervix. I remember that. And that's what makes me a porn guy. Because it makes me giddy when I see that scene. It's very similar. It's very, maybe not. Maybe it's not similar at all. They say babes usually cheat on their boyfriends because there's always a guy in her past that just, hit it right. Hit the cervix better than her current boyfriend did or can do. So she'll always, whenever she's fiddling herself or whenever she's horny, she's always going to think back to that other guy that her current guy isn't. And that's why her current relationship is doomed to fail. And she will eventually cheat on her current boyfriend because he just doesn't meet the level in the cervix that prior guy did. And that's just why the relationship fails. Because there's always that guy in the past that's better than the current. That's how I am with this porn scene. I could goon all the time. I've gooned the last 3 nights. Bang, bang, bang. None of the scenes I hawked my dick loogie even come close to that one scene I just described that will be with me forever. That's the frustrating thing about being a porn guy. You watch porn, you consume porn, you seek out porn. But there's always that one scene that is above all the porn you're gooning to. It's a tragic love story. Go suck a fat one.